Switzerland. You know, you picture the Alps, chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Heidi, and just super safe, right?
Definitely has that reputation. Rock solid.
But maybe you've seen some travel updates recently. Got you thinking.
Yeah, there's been some chatter.
So for this deep dive, we're going to get right into what you actually need to know if you're heading there.
Okay.
We've got the official advice, U.S. and U.K. governments, plus a Swiss news report reacting to it all.
And some cultural pointers, too, sounds like.
Exactly. A bit of etiquette from rough guides to round things out. The mission. Pull out
Yeah.
the key stuff, the surprises, so you feel, properly prepared.
Sounds good. Well, the first thing that jumps out is that overall feeling of safety. It does seem to match the official ratings, mostly.
Right, like the U.S. State Department.
Yeah, they just reissued their advice. It's still level 1, which is exercise normal precautions.
Low 1. Okay, so the lowest level.
Exactly. And it's interesting, a Swiss news outlet, Blue News, they picked up on this.
Oh, yeah. What do they say?
They highlighted that, yes, the U.S. mentions petty crime, but the main message is still just normal precautions. It's not like some new big warning.
Oh. And what did the Swiss readers think? I saw you mention comments.
Oh, they were great. Pretty dismissive of the U.S. warning, actually. Lots of jokes.
Like what?
Like the real dangers are overdosing on chocolate, or the scenery being so beautiful you never leave, or your wallet taking a hit. One person even made this satirical comparison to the U.S., saying Swiss guys have guns from military service, so you better behave.
Right, tongue-in-cheek.
Totally. Another joke was warning people not to wear a MAGA hat or drive a Tesla. It just shows, the local perspective is maybe a bit different.
Definitely sounds like it. So how does the UK advice compare?
Well, the gov.uk site says there's a low rate of serious crime, which lines up. But they do flag increased reports of petty theft, specifically in bigger cities. Geneva comes up a lot.
Oh, okay. Whereabouts in Geneva?
The airport, apparently, and trains going in and out of the city.
So the takeaway is safe overall, but watch your pockets.
Pretty much. Consensus is generally safe, but be aware, especially with your belongings in busy spots.
Okay, so let's dig into that petty crime a bit more.
Okay.
Pickpocketing, bag snatching.
Yeah, those are the main ones mentioned. US, UK, the Swiss news report, they all flag it.
Especially where? Tourist areas, airports.
Exactly. Crowded places. Standard advice applies. Be vigilant. Don't leave your bag open or your phone sticking out.
Common sense, really.
Yeah.
But easy to forget when you're sightseeing.
Very easy. Okay, shifting gears slightly, terrorism risk.
Right, what's the assessment there?
According to that Blue News piece, the U.S. view is low to medium risk.
Low to medium.
Their concern seems to be maybe extremists using Switzerland as a base or for support. Also, the challenge of spotting individual actors.
But no immediate threats identified.
No, they explicitly state there are no concrete indications of imminent attacks. That's important.
Okay, and the UK take on this?
Their wording is a bit different. gov.uk says terrorist attacks in Switzerland cannot be ruled out.
Sounds a bit more cautious.
It's framed within their general global assessment, the high threat worldwide affecting UK interests. So less about specific Swiss intel, maybe more about a general posture.
Interesting comparison. U.S., low to medium risk, no specific threat. UK can't be ruled out, part of a global risk.
Yeah, shows how different governments communicate these things.
Definitely. Okay, moving away from crime and security. Cultural things. Legal crooks.
Ah, yes. There's a very specific one from the UK advice. Face coverings.
Oh, like masks.
Not just masks, anything covering the face in public. It's banned in 2 cantons, Ticino and St. Gallen.
Banned completely.
In public places, yes. And it applies to tourists. Fines can be steep, apparently 100 up to 10,000 Swiss francs.
Wow. Okay, good to know if you're heading to those specific regions, Ticino and St. Gallen.
Definitely one to be aware of, not something you'd necessarily expect.
For sure. What else on the cultural front? Rough Guides had some tips?
Yeah, some nice insights, like greeting people is apparently a big deal.
Just saying hello.
Yeah, shopkeepers, hotel staff, even hikers you pass on a trail. Just a simple greeting or nod is expected, polite.
Okay, and first meetings?
Formal, usually. Handshake, use surnames. And in German-speaking areas, use Sie, the formal you, until they suggest using du, the informal one.
Got it. No instant best friends.
Not usually. And kissing, like air kisses, only for close friends, apparently. And it's 3 kisses, starting right.
3. Okay, noted. Avoid awkwardness.
Exactly. Another thing, tipping.
Always tricky.
Well, Rough Guide says it's officially abolished. Service charge, usually 15%, is included in the bill.
So no need to add extra.
Officially, no, but they say rounding up the bill is still pretty common.
Okay, small thank you. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
setting punctuality, very important. Be on time for reservations, meetings.
Expected in Switzerland, I guess.
Definitely. Oh, and a slightly surprising one, queuing. Or rather, the lack of it.
Really. No lines in shops.
Apparently not a strong queuing culture, so don't be offended if it feels a bit like a free-for-all sometimes.
Okay, good heads up. Right, what about driving? If you plan to rent a car or drive your own?
Big topic. Lots of specifics from the RAC, the Royal Automobile Club. First up, drive on the right, overtake on the left.
Standard for mainland Europe, but crucial if you're used to the left. Documents.
Need your driving license, passport, insurance certificate, V5 registration document for your car.
And the sticker on the car. UK sticker now, right?
Yes, absolutely. Since September 2021, the old GB sticker isn't valid. Needs to be a UK sticker unless it's on your number plate already.
Good reminder. Anything else needed, like green cards for insurance?
No, green cards haven't been needed since August 2021, but the RSC does mention ETS.
Ah, the new European Travel Authorization System.
Yeah, starting 2026 for people who don't need a Schengen visa. Something for the future.
Okay, and things you must have in the car.
Right. Warning triangle needs to be inside the car, reachable. Headlamp converters for UK cars. And the big one, the motorway sticker, the vignette.
The vignette, we'll come back to that. Anything else mandatory? Snow chains?
Snow chains might be required in bad weather, where signs indicate. Spare glasses or contacts if you need them to drive. Helmet for motorcyclists, obviously.
And things you can't bring in. I remember something about food.
Yeah, restrictions on meat products, milk, dairy. Fresh fruit and veg might need certificates. Worth checking before you load up the car.
Definitely. Okay, rules of the road. Anything unusual?
Priority rules. At unmarked junctions, traffic from the right has priority. Always.
Okay, critical to remember that.
Absolutely. And give way to trams, always. Also, buses pulling out from stops.
Speed limits. Strict.
Very strict enforcement, yes. Limits are posted in kilometers 50 in towns, 80, 100 outside, 120 on motorways. And fines are hefty.
And radar detectors.
Illegal. Don't even think about it.
Seatbelts.
Mandatory for everyone over 12 if the car has them.
Okay, back to the vignette for motorways.
Essential. Costs about 40 Swiss francs. Valid for 14 months. December of the previous year, all of the current year, January of the next.
And if you don't have one?
Big fine. You buy it at the border, petrol stations, post offices. Stick it on the windscreen as instructed.
Got it. Drink driving limit.
It's 0.05%, lower than the UK, for example, and even lower, 0.01% for new drivers. Very strict.
So basically, don't drink and drive.
Safest bet. And know the emergency numbers. 1 Savert for police, 112 is the pan-European one. Use the orange phones on motorways if needed.
Right. So driving requires careful preparation and following the rules closely.
Absolutely. It connects back to safety, not just avoiding fines, but avoiding accidents.
Makes sense. Now, lots of people go to Switzerland for the outdoors, right? Hiking, skiing.
Definitely. And the UK advice has specific points on this. Adventure sports carry risks, obviously.
So insurance is key.
Crucial. And make sure it covers the specific activities you plan to do. Hiking, mountaineering, skiing. And check it includes mountain rescue, even helicopter costs. Those can be huge.
Good point. What about natural hazards? Altitude.
Yep. Altitude sickness is a risk in many mountain areas. The ukgov.uk site lists places like the Alps, Jura, Ticino. Know the symptoms, acclimatize properly.
Avalanches too, I assume.
Big risk, especially off-piste skiing. Follow local warnings, get local advice. Consider carrying transceiver, shovel, probe if you're going into unsecured areas.
And wildfires.
Can be a risk in summer, especially after dry spells. Be aware of fire bans. Check locally.
So responsible tourism means being prepared for the environment too.
Exactly. It's not just about crime. It's about understanding the natural risks of where you're going and what you're doing.
Okay. Health information, quickly.
Again, travel insurance is paramount for healthcare and evacuation. Emergency medical numbers, 112 or 144 for an ambulance.
Vaccines.
Check recommendations before you go. Standard advice.
Anything specific flagged?
Biting insects and ticks, April to October. Tick-borne encephalitis is a risk in some areas. Use repellent, check for ticks.
And you each have...
Useful for necessary state healthcare, yes. But the UK advice is very clear. It's not a substitute for proper travel insurance. It doesn't cover everything, like repatriation.
Right, important distinction. Insurance first. GHIC as a backup for state care.
Precisely.
Okay, finally, emergency preparedness in general. Any specific Swiss systems?
Yeah, the official Swiss site, chi.ch, has good info, lists all the numbers again. Ambulance 144, police 117, fire 118, poison control 145, and the general 1512.
And alarms, like public warning sirens.
Yes, they have a general alarm. It's a rising and falling tone. If you hear that, the advice is check the Alert Swiss app or website and listen to the radio. It signals danger.
Alert Swiss app.
Yeah, sounds really useful. Provides alerts for natural disasters, other major incidents, maybe even security stuff. Worth downloading.
Okay. Any other alarms?
There's a specific water alarm, 12 low tones for areas downstream from dams. If you hear that, leave the danger zone immediately.
Wow, okay. Very specific. And if you have a traffic accident?
Clear steps provided. Stop safely, secure the scene, hazard lights, warning triangle, give first aid if needed, call emergency services, exchange details.
Specifics for motorways.
Yes. Pull onto the hard shoulder if possible, hazards on, wear a high-vis vest before getting out, place the triangle well back, get behind the safety barrier.
Seems very organized. That Alert Swiss app sounds like a really practical tool for visitors.
It does. Shows a real focus on making sure people know what to do in emergencies.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways from this deep dive on Switzerland.
Well, the big picture is definitely, it's a safe country. That level 1 U.S. rating reflects that.
But normal precautions are still needed.
Absolutely. Especially regarding petty theft in those busy tourist spots and transport hubs. Be aware of your surroundings.
And know the local laws, like that face-covering ban in Ticino and St. Gallen. That was a surprise.
Definitely. And the driving rules, stick to them. Speed limits, the vignette, priority rules, they take it seriously.
Plus, prepare for the outdoors, if that's your plan. Know the risks, have the right gear, and crucially, the right insurance.
Yeah, insurance covering health, rescue, and specific activities is non-negotiable, really.
What stood out to you most from all this? Anything particularly interesting?
For me, it was probably the contrast. You have the official advice, which has to be cautious, covering all bases. And then you have those Swiss reader comments.
Right, the chocolate overdose warnings.
Exactly. That much more relaxed, maybe even slightly amused, local perspective on the perceived dangers. It just highlights that gap between official risk assessment and lived reality sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great point. And our aim here wasn't to scare anyone, of course.
No, not at all. It's about giving you that detailed picture, going beyond the headlines so you can travel confidently, responsibly.
So maybe a final thought for you listening is, how does knowing all this actually change things for you?
Right. Does it make you think differently about planning? Maybe double check your insurance wording. Look up a few local customs before you go. Download that Alert Swiss app.
Does being more informed actually help you feel more relaxed on the trip? Because you know what to expect and you're prepared.
Something to think about. Because ultimately, being informed should lead to a safer, smoother, and probably much more enjoyable trip.
Couldn't agree more. So keep exploring, stay curious, and travel safely.